Hi, John Marshall, the DrillMaster. I found this, and it's quite pertinent to. Let's see. I did a critique of a Marine Corps Junior ROTC exhibition. I think it was Marine Corps, maybe Army. Ah, boy. Well, now I'm not even gonna start guessing. So the team did a lean in their long line, and the lean was straightforward. And what I was saying during that was that the audience really can't see it. They can see that something's going on, but if they would have turned and leaned, then it would have been so much more effective. All right, now, and I watched a few seconds of this, and then was pleasantly surprised. So this is Team Guam. I'm guessing that this is cadets from two or more high schools, and I appreciate the Guam cadets coming over to California. This is 2017 or so, and performing. It's really, it's an expensive trip, but it's such a worthwhile trip. Anyway, let's watch this performance. I want to show you something here that's just absolutely outstanding. Now listen to the increased tempo. Look at that. Look at that. That's how you do it. Now, imagine, so it looks like the head judge that's where they're saluting. But this is this is exactly how you do it. That's just perfect. So imagine the head judge looking this way, seeing them lean. They're leaning away, but you can notice it so much better than just being straight on and leaning forward. So, but over at an angle, you can get an idea of what's going on. And leaning back and saluting, that was well done. Appreciate the opening statement here for the team. Now, in California, you have to request to enter the drill field, because if you don't request permission to enter the drill field and you enter, what happens? Nothing. Nice. Look at that. That was well done. Kind of a change step movement in there. Just a slight foot drag that works well. Now notice that. So one thing that didn't work out well, you can see here, is the spacing. So he is practically on top of that other cadet as soon as he turns, but there is a really big gap here. So now, okay, so we've got the commander coming in to integrate. That's great. However, there's still a gap. I'm glad the commander's integrated in and not, this sore thumb sticking off to the side there. That's good. So, nice long line, but unfortunately the camera operator's not panning across. That would be nice. So for the report in, going into a ripple sequence right after the report in, that's fine. However, the long line and the integrated commander really wasn't all of a powerful position or formation really for the report in. It would be really nice if the camera was farther back. So if I can have my choice, the commander is, or the camera is farther back, pretty much centered from the head judge's position, and then elevated. That's perfect. Now, here, this is a much powerful position, or formation, I should say. Commander at the point, that's great. Great tempo change, still with the slowdown, and still passing through really well, forming an X. Chanting tends to be a big thing on, at least from my experience, on the West Coast. Nice dip there. Variation on what they're doing. Now, I've got to say though that, and that's nice. Great triangle formation, and it's a it's a filled formation instead of an empty. It's a positive space, not a negative space. So negative space is a triangle that's not filled in. Then it has nobody in the center, and the wedge is a similar type of form. Interesting work there. That's good. So you're sticking out like a sore thumb now, Commander. And of course, this is several years ago. There's really no use for the team for my commentary, but it's intended for everyone else. Giving commands at certain times, it seems like what the team is doing is creating a long line, and then a stomp slap sequence, and then they move to a wedge stomp slap sequence, and then they move to a filled in a positive triangle and a stomp slap sequence, and in between each one of those is the commander calling out a command, and this time, like I said, sticking out like a sore thumb, coming to attention, not in it, but you're integrated with the rest of the team though. See, that's the problem here. You're turning your head to the right like you should to call commands, and when really you shouldn't be turning your head. You shouldn't be at attention. You're integrated with the formation here, with this really nicely designed triangle, and instead of stopping the performance just to call a command, it would be much better to concentrate on more of a flow and have a quicker signal instead of the constant, and the commands are quite monotone as well. Now look at the variation of technique. So we have a bent knee. Knees are together. They need to be. Knees are supposed to be together. But here, look at this. This is just a split stance there, just like doing that. And that's not the technique. That's not at all. This is the technique. And really, if you want more of an effect, then you lean back so that your torso is along a similar line as the leg that's forward. That is what's going to be effective. Here, you can see there's a slight lean back. Actually, the torsos look to be horizontal, or vertical, and then just the legs doing that. But this variation here, impacts excellence. So as I watch, I sample different sections of the team, and again, it's there's there's not much purpose in in taking the team from the triangle into these two blocks, essentially separated blocks. It's just another formation for a stomp slap sequence. So, and I'm not going. The many people talk about the cheerleading. I'm not going to go there. I understand unarmed drill. I understand the aspect of it and the even the difficulty of it, trying to keep military flavor. And there's barely military flavor here. It's not really coming across. Okay, you have a uniform on, you're creating formations, but then again, so do dance teams. You can watch hip hop dance. Like I've watched quite a few performances, and the formations are created and then morphed into other formations. That's the nature of design and communication. So just because you're in a formation doesn't necessarily mean that there's military flavor. So I appreciate the footwork here. I really do. Moving and the marching up, coming back, and then marching through, creating this cordon. But then again, it's another stamp or stomp slap sequence. It's constant. So where is the military flavor here? Where's the marching? You could and I don't mean to be derogatory at all. You could say this is a form of tap dancing or at least dancing. Now I know you don't have tap shoes on and you're not really specifically tap dancing, but it is a version of it. So where are the military formations? The platoon in this case formation. Where I've got my exhibition book here. I've got my even on my website. I have how to write drill, how to design drill. The boxes of three method. Boxes of three method can take you. It's a great foundation. It can take you into all kinds of ideas, and it's for you to use and benchmark, and then take that blackout, take that the delta and the beta moves and use them to design all kinds of different versions of essentially the same thing, but there's variation in there that is really quite. It's very regimented, very military, but you can take it and give it your own flavor instead of, and I'm again not meaning to be derogatory at all. Instead of the constant stomp slap sequence. And the chants are a bit they get to now so some people call this drill also patty cake, and you just showed that. So the pause there for the timing, and then the entrance right back into the timing that worked really well. It was quite good. And using the circles to reform the platoon. Also, good job. But see, you can hear them. And not a dig against this young lady as the commander here, but her voice is monotone. It was the same thing all throughout. Exactly the same. No variation, no nothing. It was all just there is projection in there, but no inflection. It's just constant same tone for everything, and that gets monotonous. Monotone gets monotonous, and you're 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 not instilling through the commands and also through these different sequences. You're not instilling the audience to really watch and pay attention and be oohed and awed. Now, with armed drill, yeah, it's a bit easier to do that. With unarmed, it is a little complicated, and I understand that. However, there are all kinds of things that you can do rather than the pat a cake cheerleader type of performance. And you're holding the form as you march, and that's good. Timing is really very well kept. Honestly, this reminds me of there's what, four high schools in San Francisco that the unarmed teams have. Well, there's a little more here. So a closing statement, great, and I'm glad of that. That really works. Okay, so the maybe it's four high schools. I actually have I've shared videos of the performances before, and I can't remember if I critiqued them or not. Maybe I should just go ahead and find them and critique them, or at least give commentary about them. The this performance reminds me of that these San Francisco high schools where the female cadets are in a completely different uniform. It is more like a cheerleading uniform, and so and they're constantly singing throughout the entire performance, and there's really very little military flavor in the performance. I think I should get there, but so there is some military communication here, and I can see that it's minimal, honestly, and really the moves were just different versions of different formations to create slap and stomp sequences, and that's it, and chanting as well. So we will sing cadences in the military when we march, really to take our minds off of long marches, but or for more motivation, really, and so I get that. It's just that this goes well beyond that aspect, and I'm not ready to completely dismiss this. Definitely, as a judge, I have to judge what's presented in front of me and not just say, "Oh, I don't like that." I may not like something, and I honestly, this is not my cup of tea. But still, I can find really good qualities in the performance, and then some that I think really need to be tweaked, and especially the marching. Now, you have some great step style techniques, changes in there, some marching changes in there. I do appreciate that very much. I appreciate the thought process that went into designing this. But there's you you formed a cordon at one point. Didn't use the cordon like you could have, and that was a bit disappointing because there were some great opportunities in there. The fan fold of the arms going as you away from or even towards the audience. That would have been a fantastic opportunity there. And then to create some fake exchanges. You can't exchange weapons, so then you can do something there as each of the team members are facing each other, and then having the commander walk down the cordon and then back up. So there were opportunities there, I think, that were really missed, that could have been taken. And, well, anyway, however, I do appreciate the performance. I really do. It's just it's a learning experience for everybody, including me. I haven't really exposed myself all that much to performances like this. I've kind of steered away from them. But I really do need to include these so that everybody can learn all at the same time. All right, so I hope my comments are helpful. Thank you very much for watching.